Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Memorial Day weekend. It's Sunday, 9 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. For those of you who are watching in the Euro side, welcome. I'm gonna get this link posted up everywhere and see if there are people watching right now for this big bull explosion that we just had. All right, so let me post this link up. Let's see. I get this going. Oops, that's a wrong title I have on the video. Looks like people are gonna be really surprised on the title of the video, but I'm gonna just right here excuse the title on the video. Let me just post these in different groups real quick, and we'll get right to our BTC analysis, guys. How's everyone doing this weekend? And I'd like to ask everyone where you guys are in terms of understanding how to trade and how to invest in the crypto space. And are you still trading alts, hoping to catch some, bull runs in terms of 5x, 10xers, or are you actually trading properly? That's the question to ask, right? Is everyone trying to understand if people are yeah, sorry about that, Connor. I know, yeah, it's gonna be pretty annoying with that title. Let's see, let me change this up. Let me add this over here. Let's see. Okay. Post this here and post this one here. All right. Yeah, I apologize for the title, guys. Please do forgive me. I'm really not used to sort of understanding how to change up the titles and stuff, do all the due diligence before going live. But I hope you guys understand. I'm honestly more of like a trader and investor, and I just love technicals. So that's really what I'm good at. I'm clearly not good at setting up my YouTube and making sure everything is all set before going live. So I apologize. Okay, I hope you guys forgive me. But if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that my job is all about technicals. Okay, I've been trading and investing for about 11 years now. And in those 11 years, I've learned a thing or two about understanding, market dynamics, as well as, more importantly, understanding human psychology. Okay. So I did a video yesterday for my Cryptosomniac community, on Elliott waves. Okay. So understanding Elliott waves was one of the first sort of principles in understanding how human psychology plays in financial markets or even tradable assets like Bitcoin. Okay, Elliott wave principle is actually applicable to any tradable market and any sort of trend setting event. So for example, you can actually see Elliott wave play out when the first television was launched, and you can make like a 5-wave count in terms of when there was essentially more TVs sold in the third and fifth wave of the Elliott wave, or also it could be known as like the Gartner hype cycle, which could map out Elliott waves within. If you're not, if you haven't heard of Gartner hype cycles, it's basically a way of understanding how technology or events play out in terms of reaching mass adoption or initially, gaining traction. Okay, so anyway, So let me get right to the technicals, okay? So here's the thing, right? In our community right here, I've been stating for weeks, first of all, that BTC is probably going to go higher. At first, I obviously thought that it was going to hit 6,000 and pull back, but once it broke it, I mean, I knew for the most part it's gonna take off. Okay, and you can look back on my videos, look at my timestamps, everything that you need to look at is within our community. Every single YouTube video that I have, it's online. Watch it yourself. Come to our channel, and you can see for yourself. We do this stuff on a day-to-day basis, okay? And I explain to people exactly what's happening in price action and why we're essentially looking for higher targets. First things first, when everyone was freaking out right here in this bull pennant right here, people thought that, oh, this is a double top and it looks like we're going to fall down. Guys, you have to understand the anatomy of a double top, okay? What I mean by anatomy of a double top is, first of all, the first top, once it's secured, it usually has a pullback or a drop, and then the second drop the second pop up for the double top right here comes back with significantly less volume, struggles to get up there, like basically a person who's just trying to go against the grain and climb up because there's so many sellers, somehow gets up there, but then gets torpedoed down again. Okay, the double top is only confirmed and validated when the first low of this top right here is taken out. Okay, so a few days ago when we came down right here in this area and we put in this candle right here, which is essentially a higher low right in this area, I knew for the most part this thing is going to take off. Okay, and again, we mentioned this in our community. It was really a matter of time. What I personally thought was it was going to take much longer because, let me see where my chart is here. I actually thought it would take much longer because prices hovering above, say, the 365-day moving average. Let's see this right here. Okay, so here's the 365-day moving average, and I'm gonna pull up this chart right here. Okay, for the most part, what I had right here was, once you have prices coming up above a major moving average, you tend to consolidate above this area, okay, for at least a few weeks. So, for example, I had shown JP Morgan Chase, I think in the early 2000s, in a couple of videos ago, that price broke through the 200 moving average for JP Morgan Chase, moved sideways for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then took off again. Okay, I knew for the most part that prices would at least spend at least a week or two in here. Clearly, it took less time than that, exactly 2 weeks, and then prices just broke on through. Okay, this is how intense the bullish pressure is, guys. You have to realize that there is clearly a lot of buyers here. Okay, I honestly have no idea when this buying is going to stop and this resurgence of the crypto or Bitcoin bull market is going to stop. I have a vague idea of where some of the next big resistance levels are, and this is where I mapped out my Elliott wave count, right? So wave 1 we hit at 4,100, 4,200, pullback of the wave 2 at 3,300. Third wave, again, if you go back to my videos on YouTube in Crypto Somniac, you'll see why the third wave usually has the highest volume, and it usually contains the most amount of investor sentiment hype, as well as positivity in terms of the sentiment turning. Okay, and clearly once we broke through this area right here with this big candle, people started getting bullish right here, right? This is where the sentiment started turning. Volume started ticking up right here, consistent volume started growing. Then we got to this area right here around 6,000 or 7,000, and people are like, oh, okay, it looks like things are gonna go higher and higher. Okay, so I would say probably around this area is a topping off of wave 3. Why? Because in the next subsequent wave, which is wave 4, you see a decent amount of selling, but not a whole lot of result. Okay, meaning that selling happens. Unfortunately, there's the prices are just refusing to go down much. All right, and for the most part, after that, the fifth wave is usually it contains less volume, but somewhat decent result. So, for example, you'll see that the fifth wave right here, when it's about to finish off, the volume isn't as high, but it's going to get us towards that 9.6 to 12K target, and then essentially come down. Okay, and this is where we start seeing the ABC corrective wave from here. So now you might see the A count right here. B count might take us back towards whatever this target might be. It depends on where wave 5 ends, right? So for example, if wave 5 ended up here, right, in 12,000 or something, your A wave might be over here around 9,000. Your B wave might try to climb up towards that, and then the C wave might be deeper, somewhere around 7 or 6,000 or something. Okay, so this might actually not even take us down to these $5,000 or $4,000 levels that people are expecting, because prices are just so sky high that any dip, just like we had dips back here, are getting bought up real quick, guys. Okay, I'm just saying that you have to be prepared for your scenarios appropriately, of how to risk manage, how to set proper positions. And I show everything in my community right here of exactly what I'm doing. The open positions, as you can see right here, we have about 17.5% BTC capital, 17.5% in Ethereum. I have 5% in LTC. I closed the other 5 with a 9.7% gain around the $100 range, and now I'm hoping for the next couple targets around 110 to 118, and then 130 to 154. Okay, so you might want to pay attention to some of these numbers, take screenshots or rewatch this video or whatever. I've just sort of mapped this out for everyone, just so you know exactly what I'm looking at in terms of resistance levels. Okay, all right, cool. Going back to Elliott wave counts, again, if you want to learn this, go watch my videos again on YouTube, and you'll get a decent idea of how to go about it. All right, in terms of, again, this bull flag that was going to break, again, we knew for the most part that it was going to break. It was really just a matter of time. So now we're really aiming for that 10 to 12,000 target. Okay. One thing that I wanted to show you guys today is the CME gap. Maybe it's on this chart right here. Okay. So if you guys don't know how gaps work, okay, in the equity markets, typically gaps are essentially when price accelerates, whether markets are closed or when they open, there's some very positive news that forces the market up too high before the market opens, and the regular orders can't get in, or options can't get in, etc. Okay. Now, when it comes to the BTC futures markets, right, these don't even operate like the typical hours of crypto. Okay, crypto markets, guys, are open 24/7, 365 days. No days off, no holidays, no weekends, no off hours. Okay, so what that means is these CME traders essentially are hoping to get their orders filled for the futures contracts whenever the markets are open, right? They can't fill orders like us on a regular evening, right? Like Sunday evening. So they have to essentially come back on Monday. The markets are probably closed, so that means they have to come back Tuesday. Okay, and they have to look out for this big gap that just popped up. And then they have to think about, okay, well, do we go long at such a high premium, or then do we go short? Regardless, though, one thing is for sure, that historically, at least in BTC and even in the equity markets, gaps like these tend to get filled. Okay, it's not a necessity that they get filled, or rather they have to be filled. It just so happens that the market just has its own sort of invisible forces that allow traders to fill these gaps in by either forcing the market down to be able to recover, whatever this gap was, or to, I don't know, somehow manipulate the market. I don't really know exactly, which way it kind of works, but I know for the most part, at least historically in BTC, it has happened, right? See, this gap right here, it got filled right there, okay? This little gap right here got filled right there. This gap right here got filled, a couple weeks from then. This gap right here got filled right there, okay? So for the most part, markets just have a unique way of filling these gaps in. And now what you see is, since, for the last 5 or 6 hours, since we took this big jump from about, 8,100 or so, all the way to currently around 89.25, this is a big gap, guys. That's about a $700 to $800 gap. Okay, so when traders come in, the CME futures traders come in wanting to open up some either long or short contracts, they're going to have to figure out how to get this gap right here filled, because they can get their orders filled when they get this gap filled. Okay, so what they can do is essentially, and again, I've made a video on this and explained how I believe that the futures CME traders somehow communicate with the whales, or they are the whales, or they're all working together to be able to drive the markets up or down, because BTC is not that big of a market, guys. It's I mean, less than $100 billion or 120 billion, so it's not that hard to move markets like this with a couple $1 million, and that's why I say that when you're playing against these Wall Street sharks, the people from Asia who are essentially moving these markets, they are capable of moving entire asset classes like crypto, or even entire assets like BTC up and down to their will, okay? And so for the most part, gaps like these, by no surprise, will get filled at some point, all right? It's really just, how the markets work, all right? So something to be careful about in this gap, say we top off at around 10 or 12,000 and it looks like we're coming down, this might be an area where there's a quick wick down here, and you may actually want to think about placing some orders in this region. They might get filled, kind of like this wick right here, okay, how it hit that. All right, okay, I hope that helps. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, if you look at these addresses with at least 0.1 BTC, guys, this is adoption right here. Okay, this is, useful adoption, useful data that's showing us that BTC is not dead. Okay, it's more or less, it's actually alive more than ever. Okay, so when we have prices, or I'm sorry, wallet addresses increasing like this with 0.1 BTC or more, you can clearly see that this asset is even more desired than ever before. All right, so this is why, when people say that, hey, Bitcoin is going to die soon, or we're going to go back to $500 or some ridiculous number like that, I mean, I think it's outlandish, and those people are foolish to think that. Okay, now with that statement being said, I have also stated that, when we've looked at historical markets like the Tokyo Stock Exchange, like this, I've mentioned before that in my life, I have never seen an asset sort of break down and take off for its next bull run without first retesting, coming back to its previous low where it first capitulated. Okay, if this was the capitulation right here, this big move makes everyone think that, hey, the days are gone of the 3,000 or 4,000 levels. We're never coming back. And then you get people to buy up here and up here and up here, and then prices start tanking. And this is the most, fear-driven area right here, okay? Because this is where people think that, oh shit, we're going back to 4,000 or 5,000 or 3,000. This asset is done. It's going to zero. I'm going to get out of this market before it bankrupts me. And this is the next wave where a majority of the asset gets put into the hands of smart money. All right. You can see this in the Nikkei Stock Exchange, and you can also see this in gold. All right. I want to show you guys the gold chart. Saying you can see how it pops. The bubble, blows up the same way right here, and then it pops the same way, just like BTC did, right? Again, I'm not trying to refer to BTC as a bubble that's going to pop anytime soon. I'm just saying that when it comes to the technicals, guys, there's a reason why it looks the same. Okay, you can see that here it tops off for gold. Again, this is the SPDR, the gold shares, so this is a little bit different than the gold prices. These are just ETFs. It tops off right here at 177. It sort of hits this double top lower high right here, comes down. This is analogous to the 6,000 area that we had in BTC last year in February. And then it creates another lower high, lower high, lower high. Boom, capitulation for a couple months. Big rise up in candles where things just look excessively bullish. Starting to break previous swing highs. And then it comes back down almost close to retesting this level. Okay, if we map this out right now, I bet it's somewhere close to the 618 fib. Okay, let me turn this off. Let's see where that is. Yeah, okay, well, it's even deeper actually. It's probably 786 fib. Okay, so you can see that the 786 fib was actually hit. So if we sort of calculate this move right here in BTC, right? So let me pull up BTC. Where's my other chart? Let me put up this one right here. Okay, so say for example, we go up all the way to 12,000. All right, so let's map out 12,000 and see where that goes. Okay, so where exactly will the 786 fib take us? Okay, let me see if this chart right here has anything. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm gonna do this on the daily, so this way you guys can see exactly what I mean. All right, I'm gonna turn off this volume, and I wanted to show you guys if we map out the Fibonacci levels from this low right here, and we take them all the way to 12,000, right? So here's 12,000 right here. That's the high of my range that I have. Okay, the 786 fib, guys, see, it takes us back to 5,000. Okay, so this is where things are going to get interesting. People are going to think that, oh, we're going to go down to 3,000, 4,000, or 2,000, but where prices are really going to land is this big accumulation that happened right here. And surprisingly enough, if we start looking at volume right here, this is really the biggest volume area where prices took off from. So I would say if prices hit 12,000 and they're going to come back down again to follow the pattern of how the Nikkei Tokyo Stock Exchange and gold broke down, I would say they may land in this region right here, anywhere between 5,000 and 6,000. Okay. Now the funny thing is that, in Bitcoin, remember that 6,000, this block right here, was a huge support for us for many, many months in the bear market, where prices kept hitting this area. See, it hit once right there, twice right there, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, 7, bunch of times right here. And then it finally capitulated. Okay, so it took us just one clean rip right through it. So what if prices get up to 10 or 12K? I would probably say that this might actually be the area where BTC lands and then takes off again for its next bull run. Okay. Again, it's not necessary that prices have to come down. I'm just stating that they actually might in that area. Okay, so let me sort of show you guys the open positions that I'm in and the current P&L that I have in my open position. So ETH I have 17.5% in. Average about $249. So let's see where Ether is right now. Let's see. Ether is currently at $270, right? I'm going to sort of delete these wave counts here. And we're just going to do something like this, okay? Let me grab my tool price range, 249. And by the way, 249 is not, you know, just the first time we got into Ether, okay? So we're currently up about 8.65%. There's multiple points in here where we bought here, sold here, rebought here, sold up here. So don't think that, you know, we just came into the market at 249 and now we're, you know, up X%. There's been multiple runs through this entire, you know, ETH movement that we've gotten in and gotten out, okay? Same with LTC. I mean, we rode LTC at least 4 or 5 times when it was starting to take off over here in December, January, and February. We got some really good gains out of it, okay? And now LTC, we have an open position since $90. So from 90 right here all the way to 112. You can see we're currently up about 24 to 25% on LTC. Okay, so I hope, you know, you do consider these positions. This is not investment advice. This is just research that I've done to realize that when we start looking at specific US dollar or fiat on-ramp assets, such as LTC, Ethereum, and BCH, these move at a higher percent in the market than most alts, okay? I was actually in some alt positions earlier. I lost out. I had a 7.8% loss right here, negative 12% loss right here. Even though these weren't like the biggest positions, I had maybe like 5 or 10% in each one. But you make it up in other ways, right? Not every trade could be a winner, guys. You know, I always tell my community that you just have to make sure that you win, you know, anywhere between 40 to 50% of your trades, okay? You don't even have to win 70 or 80%. 40 to 50% of your trades you have to win, and you just have to keep your losers small, okay? So if your winners are, say, you know, 7 to 8% gains, your losers should be anywhere between 2 and 3%, okay? That's a net of anywhere between 4 to 6% right there, right? So if you had 2 trades, an 8% winner, and the other trade, which is a 3% loser, you just netted 5%. Guys, 5% is a lot, you know, in a day or two or even a week, okay? Traders in the in the equity markets would kill to have numbers like that, all right? So don't take this market for granted. Play it smart, you know, learn your technicals, understand exactly what you're doing in this market, and you will be all set, all right? Let's see how the BCH trade is doing. Here's a BCH trade. Got in around 390, I think. From here to here, about 12%. Okay, so we're up about 12% BCH. And again, my targets for all of these, so for example, my targets for Ethereum is somewhere between 340 and 360. Okay, my targets for LTC, 110 to 118, and then 130 to 154. Okay, my targets for BCH are pretty high actually, because BCH is one of those assets that just, honestly, when it moves, it really moves. It moves like a rocket ship. So my targets are pretty high for BCH, anywhere between 550 and 620. So again, if you consider getting in right now for BCH, from here, let's see, for even if you got out, say around $500, that's about a 13% gain from here. I would say that's a pretty good deal, you know? So yeah, take a look at these, you know, positions. I mean, feel free to utilize this information right here for your own purposes. BNB, that's the other position that I have. Got in around 30.85. Let's see where we are right now. So BNB, we're currently up about 16% in BNB. Okay, so as you can see, even though I had my losers right here, -7% loss and -12% loss, never be afraid to talk about your losers, guys. I mean, any person in this market, whether you watch some random people on YouTube who are talking about TA or being great traders, if they don't announce their losers like this and they have too much ego to say that they're just winning trades all the time, I can guarantee you that they're probably someone who's just living in their mother's basement and just pretending that they know technicals, or honestly they just have no money in the market and they're just making up shit numbers like this. Okay, so since you guys are watching me right now, I want to show you guys one of my open positions in my options. Okay, so you do know that I have skin in the game and that I'm doing it right. All right, so here's my options contract here at 72.50 call that I made maybe a couple of weeks ago. As you can see, my P&L is right there, 102%. I am not afraid to talk about my winners or my losers. I started off this particular account at 0.08 BTC, okay? And now, as you can see, I multiplied that by 10x in options trading, okay? So guys, I'm not your, typical YouTuber who's just, doing TA to fake it. I am someone who's been doing this for a while. I'm still learning on a day-to-day basis. I have my books that I read. I'm constantly trying to educate myself, so I'm not someone who's trying to profess that I know everything, but I do know a lot more than most people on, talking about technicals on YouTube about crypto, okay? And here's my, proof of the pudding right there, all right? I've been growing this account, and I have a couple of other accounts right here, but I don't really want to show them because they are pretty sizable accounts. But this one right here is my options long only account. And clearly, as you can see, I'm not afraid to sort of talk about it because I know what I'm doing in this market, okay? And this is why I built this community right here, to explain to people that, hey, if you just follow me and see what I'm doing, yeah, you'll have some losers here and there, but I promise you that your winners are going to be a lot bigger, okay? But again, I don't profess this as buy or sell investment advice or anything like that. Legally, I can't even do that, okay? Because I'm still studying for my Series 7. I'm still, sort of not registered financial advisor, but I know a decent amount of what I am doing, and what I am doing works. And it works for a lot of people. You can see this in our community right here, guys. You could see in gains reviews right here, okay? You could see, people taking amazing trades from our awesome analyst, Jordan. EOS trade right there, good gains. WSR, he made 20% in less than 24 hours. Okay, Cal Kimball, got into LTC at $90, got out at 111% gain, quick and easy, right? Even over here, 12% on Link. Over here, this person is saying 20% growth right there. The $99, much worth it. Okay, all our gains right here, guys, are visible for you. Okay, I'm not paying any of these people. They're doing it voluntarily, and you can see, guys. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, guys. It's in our community. Okay, so I hope you come join. Please join the Cryptosomniac Advantage program. Go to cryptosomniac.com, hit products right there, and then you will be able to see Cryptosomniac Advantage right here, and you can come join our community. All right. Another thing to talk about is the CFTC, the COT report, which is the Commitment of Traders reports. These actually come out for BTC pretty much every Friday. And this actually helps you understand the position stance of where exactly long and short interests are for Bitcoin, particularly in terms of the CME BTC futures. Okay, so looking at these right here and understanding what to make of these numbers is a very important thing to do. And I do this every single week, and I explain it to my community every single week. For the most part, CME contracts have been largely, short, but the non-reportable positions as of, mid-April and May have been ticking up in terms of the longs. Okay, so you can see that the CME is actually going long on these positions because you can see it in their contracts. Okay, so looking at these contracts right here and understanding what to make of it is going to help you understand where exactly the sentiment of the market is and whether it's bullish or bearish. All right, so you have to empower yourself with knowledge and different resources to understand exactly what you're looking at and how to use this to be able to trade your positions in the market. All right, and so we do this in our community every single day. Okay, another thing to talk about is this. Okay, so here is the CME futures group. I'm sorry, the CME futures open interest volume right here. And here you see for the May contracts, which are up, I think, May 29th, I want to say, there's still about 2,700 contracts of open interest. These people are probably going to roll over into the June contracts, guys. And if you see right here, these positions are more long than short. What does that tell you? Where do you think this volume right here is going to go when it goes into June? Do you think it's going to be long or do you think it's going to be short? I think it's going to be long. So what does that tell us? 2,700 contracts, and each contract, remember, is worth 5 BTC. Okay, so 27 contracts multiplied by 5, that's about 13 to 1,400 Bitcoin. Or I'm sorry, 13 to 14,000 Bitcoin that are going to be rolled up into the June 2019 contracts, which already have, 1,200 open interest contracts. So that means that's another, 5 to 7,000. So about 20 to 25,000 BTC are potentially going to be playing out into the June contracts. I personally think that we are easily going to hit that 10 to 12K, especially if CME volume is going to be more geared for the bullish up move rather than the bearish. Because remember, it's always easier to trade with the trend. And you can see the trend right now is up, guys. No one ever wants to, short the market right here. Whoever is shorting or is a bear right now is just dumb. I mean, it is just plain old dumb. Like, shorting right now would be the most unwise thing you can do because you're basically trading against this entire grain right here. You're trading against every single bull who's looking to destroy you in this market because they are aiming to take prices higher. So why would you want to short? The time for shorting was all last year. I mean, you could throw a short at any point last year, and if you had the money to pay the fees on your shorts on BitMEX, I mean, you were eventually going to make money, okay? Because it paid out pretty big right here. But now it's time to go long, okay? Going long is where the money's at, all right? So make sure your bets are placed properly, guys. I know mine are. So, understand exactly what you're doing with your, trades and how you're managing your money. All right. And if you don't know what to do, come join our community. All right. Over here, I spoke about, ETH right here. I'm aiming for that 310 to 320 block right here. This is really the big resistance that we had last year, I want to say. Let me see which chart that is. Might be over here. Here's that Ether chart that I wanted to show you guys. So here's Ether sort of hitting into that that block previously from last August and September. This is really the sideways sort of distribution that happened in this region, and then finally prices capitulated. Okay, so I would expect that these same people who bought in right here are becoming sellers in this area, and this is why there's so much resistance in this area, and ETH can't just break through it. But guys, once we break through this chunk right here, I mean, we're gonna fly pretty fast to $400. Okay, and then once we break 400, I mean, I don't see any resistance till $700 to $800. It's going to be a pretty smooth ride once we get past about, $400. Okay. So do keep an eye on Ethereum. I know my bet's already placed on Ethereum, and I'm really looking for my positions to pay off in the near future. Look at the amount of volume that Ether played, okay, in this particular candle right here. I wanted to check this out. Let's see how much ETH this is right here. This is about 822,000 ETH, guys, in this, oh, I'm sorry, this candle right here, okay, 822,000 Ether. That's a lot of Ether, guys. And even over here, in these couple of candles, 400,000. You can see right there, 537,000, right? So a lot of Ethereum actually came into play into this region. And I don't think that the people who bought in this area or even over here are going to, think that 300 is the top and that's it. No, this thing, for the most part, I'm thinking at some point it's definitely going to go up to 1,000 by the end of this year, maybe beginning of next year, very early next year. And then, my long-term targets for Ether are really high. I mean, anywhere between 2,000 to 4,000 in the next couple of years. That's what I'm thinking. So if you're an Ether fan, guys, Ether is going to pay off really well. All right. Okay. Other than that, please do give us a thumbs up, guys. We do this content every single day. People in our community are really just awesome members, and they love supporting us and giving us shout outs. So if you are watching this and you're not part of our community, I mean, the least you can do is just share the video, give us a like, give us a comment, and it really helps. It gives us the energy and courage to keep going, because I promise you guys, when you start working on something that you truly love, like trading is for me, you like doing it as much as you can, and you like to show and teach people how to trade. And this is why I produce so much content in my community, and I work really hard providing people updates. I wake up every single morning around 6 a.m. and provide my community updates every single morning, okay? And it really helps when you realize that, oh, this is actually helping people. People like to watch what I'm doing. People are paying attention. It's helping them in some ways. They're utilizing our information to somehow benefit them. It feels good, right? So I'm hoping you give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, come join our community, guys. And I hope to see you guys soon in our Cryptosomniac channel. But other than that, guys, like I said, 10 to 12K is really my target. This candle right here essentially got created in the last 3 hours of the daily candle, or 4 hours. This candle has still about 18 to 20 hours to go, or actually technically 21 to 22 hours to go. So a lot can happen in this candle. And so I personally think that by tomorrow or in the next 48 hours or so, I expect to be in the $9,000 area quite easily. All right. That's all, folks. Do join our community. Give us a thumbs up. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. Come to the Cryptosomniac Facebook group, Cryptosomniac. The market never sleeps, and neither do we. All right. I'm pretty active in this group right here. You can also give us a like on the Cryptosomniac page right here as well. Cryptosomniac on Facebook. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. And you guys take care. Spend some time with your families on this Memorial Day. Cheers.